Congressman Tom Price is from Georgia's 6th Congressional District. He's also the chair of the Republican Study Committee, joining us on the phone from his district in Marietta, Georgia. Congressman, thanks for being with us on C-SPAN Radio.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
The White House is saying that this Recovery Act cushioned the greatest economic crisis since the Great Depression. Agree or disagree with that?
Well, maybe if they keep saying it, somebody might believe it. But the American people know and understand. Only 6% of the American people believe that the stimulus actually created any jobs at all. This has been a dismal failure, and if it were only just a failure of policy, it would be one thing. The problem is that it has burdened our kids and our grandkids with an increasing debt that they will be paying for decades to come.
One of the points that the president made at the White House, though, is that small businesses creating jobs, they're the engine for the recovery. But in a recession, the government needs to provide some stimulus, some spending to keep jobs in place, especially in the public sector like police protection, fire departments, state budgets, teachers, education, and the like.
Well, that's, it's a new spin, and it's interesting, but it's not what the stimulus was supposed to be about. It's not what he said it was going to be about. In fact, as you'll recall, and the American people will recall, he said if the $800+ billion stimulus was not passed, then the unemployment rate would go above 8%. If it was passed, it would stay below 8%. We're currently at 9.7% with nearly 4 million jobs lost since the stimulus was passed. 47 states have lost jobs since the stimulus was signed. This is a clearly a dismal failure of a program that is only exceeded by the remarkable selfishness of its act.
The other point that the White House has made, and the president specifically saying that 95% of working families getting a tax cut, he specifically took aim at the Republicans when he brought it up in his State of the Union address, and the lack of any applause from the Republicans on this specific issue.
Well, it's clearly a lack of appreciation for what a tax cut is. A tax cut is truly a decrease in the marginal rates that individuals actually pay. A tax cut is not a check that individuals receive in the mail from the federal government with money that the government doesn't have, with money that's going to be charged to the taxpayer. This is just absolute fiction that they have provided a tax cut for the American people, and the American people know it. If you ask the average American on the street, have you gotten your tax cut yet, they would say no.
So how do you spur the economy? How do you create jobs? How do you get people to spend more and to save more?
This is the most frustrating thing, Steve, because if you listen to the White House, one would presume that we don't know how to create jobs. The greatest nation in the history of the world has provided more opportunity and success for more individuals than any nation ever. The way that you create jobs is to do a number of things very specifically. One is to have a predictability in the marketplace. Businesses won't create jobs when they don't know whether they're going to be punished with a new health care bill or a new energy tax. So you got to provide predictability in the marketplace. Decrease taxes to businesses and individuals so that you allow individuals to have more money, businesses to have more money. Decrease the oppressive regulatory mechanism that on businesses themselves so that they're able to create jobs. And finally, stop the massive spending at the federal level. Every dollar that the federal government spends takes a dollar out of the private sector and decreases the ability of businesses to create jobs. That's how you expand this economy.
So when this president says that the recovery plan saved or created an estimated 2 million jobs, a number that was backed up by the Congressional Budget Office, you disagree with that figure?
The only individuals that agree with that are probably the First Lady, the Vice President, and folks that he has coerced at CBO to somehow appreciate his expanding definition of saved or created.
Representative Tom Price of Georgia joining us earlier.